What's going on, everybody? It's Corey here. It's another episode of the Zapp Comics Radio Podcast. We're brought to you by Zapp Comics and powered by Audio Boom, of course. We got some friends here tonight. We got Joe Watt is back from his little vacation.
What's happening?
How you doing? All right?
Yeah, good.
You got a haircut?
Yeah, feeling good.
Looking good. Same old Joe, but you got a haircut.
Okay.
Okay. And Dr. Jonny Knoll.
How's it going?
Good. And we got a good friend of ours, Frank Yodice is here.
How you doing, Corey?
How you doing, bud? All right?
I'm good.
He lives in Bloomingdale with me. No, not with me, but we both live in Bloomingdale. He's a regular here. And the reason why he's here is, the reason why we're all here is because of Stranger Things, because I wanted to watch this. He saw it, and he said, watch it, and I binge-watched it like 3 different times. So I wanted to do a podcast on it.
Corey's pumped about Stranger Things.
Dude, Stranger Things, man, I don't get excited for stuff at all. The only thing I get excited for is a new movie coming out that I can take my kid to see. Like, that's what I get excited for. I don't get excited for anything. I'm boring old Corey. I'm excited for the mini NES that's coming out.
Oh, my God.
So I can play Kid Icarus again. That's what I'm excited for.
Not gonna lie. I'm excited about it, too.
See? Thank you very much. Johnny, you too, I'm sure. Yes. Joe, I don't know if you know what
There's just no way to put more games on there. I can't believe they would do something like that, you know?
We
Like
could
what?
sell another one.
Make another one.
Come on. You know, like, I'm saying there's that NES has those 60 games. That's a wrap.
It's 30 games.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
Okay.
if you download them on Wii U, it's like $5 a game.
No. I feel like I've done that.
So this
That's
is
why
$6. An extra controller is $10. Give it to my kids. I don't care if they break it. It's fine.
Nice.
So pump the brakes, Joe. Pump the brakes. All right?
Already.
Relax. Thanks for already ruining the thing, Joe. Go back to Wildwood.
You're terrible.
All right. Of course, Stranger Things came out on Netflix. I remember seeing a little article thing online about this a few months back, and I'm like, oh, this looks really like something I would probably like and appreciate. And then kind of forgot about it. I saw the preview for it. I'm like, this looks really good. It came out, and I don't have the life now where I can sit down and watch 8 episodes of something. I can't even watch 1 episode of something. So when I saw it was 8 episodes long, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I tried watching Daredevil. I can't watch it. My kid's always up, and she looked at everything. I don't want her seeing Daredevil. Daredevil's way too violent. So we watched Stranger Things one night. The first episode, my wife's like, let's watch another one. Next thing you know, the next day we watched the entire thing. So when Johnny was watching, and he was like, yeah, in episode 5, I'm like, dude, I don't know the episode numbers. It looked to me as like one thing. So I'm hooked on it. I think the entire world's hooked on it.
How does that happen?
Because, you know what, sometimes everybody gets hooked on something that's good, and it works, as opposed to something that's bad. You know, like, it happens. People, like Walking Dead, the show, not very good. People love it, you know? Okay, which is fine. I don't like it, but everybody else loves it, which is fine. I don't think it's good. This is something that good everybody likes.
But you know, with that too, it's just been pushed by word of mouth. There was no really.
It's word of mouth too, and it helps when it's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just like, okay, it's a little independent thing. I'm trying to push it. When you have major people, little people, everybody pushing it,
Little
and it's
people.
always. You done? You done? You done? Okay. So, like, Frank here came in, and I think he messaged me on Instagram.
Yeah, I happened to, one morning, I think the morning that it released, early
Sunday,
July.
right? Yeah,
it was like something like that. Speaking of social media, I saw somebody post a picture of the still frame with 11 right on the front there, and I immediately went to Netflix, watched the first episode, and canceled the rest of my plans for the day and watched all 8.
Yeah.
It was just that addictive, you know. It brings you straight back.
Yeah, and I like how they wanted to, the Duffer Brothers, when they made this, they wanted it to be like a movie. So they didn't make it 12 episodes, whatever. It feels like a movie. Obviously, it's a little bit long, but it's a nice pack. And I know when they do season 2 or 3, they said they're going to keep them 8 episodes, which is great. The thing I like about it is that when you're watching the preview and you don't really look into it, you don't know what it is. Like, it's like, you have no idea there's a creature in it. You just know this kid goes missing in this town, and everybody's going crazy, but this girl shows up. Like, when he goes, this girl shows up, so it's like, what is it? So the first couple episodes, you're like, I don't know what I'm watching. But you know you like it. You know, it has that Goonies feel to it. Of course, I grew up in Explorers. I know some people haven't seen that with Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen Explorers.
Yeah.
You're just saying, yeah? Or
Yeah,
you've
I'm just
seen
saying. I have no idea.
You know what it is?
I've never seen it.
It's basically Goonies in space. They go in
Is
space.
that what you were showing me before?
No, that's a different movie.
Yeah, that's what it- So have you seen Explorers?
I have not. I know you talked about it a couple times, and I did read that they're actually going to be remaking it.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. It's. I remember seeing the theater. I don't know how much it did. Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix or anything yet. I think it came out before Stand By Me. I think. I
Yeah, I would agree with
I believe it did. Because I think Stand By Me was 86.
It may have been. I mean,
Because I know Explorers was when I lived in my first house. and we moved in '85. I remember seeing it in that house, so I'm assuming it was before Stand By Me. So I think it's just under the radar. But most people who've seen it, it's Goonies in space. They do the same thing. They just go up in space. Unbelievable, but it's fun. So you get that. Paper Girls that just came out, and it has a.
It really is like Stranger Things is like a little creepier version of Paper Girls, just because there's a lot more communication in Paper Girls. But when I saw Stranger Things, I was like, that's weird how Paper Girls it's a group of kids. One of them goes missing and it's replaced by an older version or different version, whatever.
Yeah.
And there's also another existing timeline of monsters, another dimension, which is cool.
Yeah, and everybody's like, oh, Paper Girls came out first. I'm like, whoa, they made this, so maybe they came out at the same time. So it's not
I doubt either of them knew of
No,
either one.
it was probably.
It's just that genre. And,
see, my thing with it is that it's more like. I get the I understand the Goonies thing, but it's not really. It's more.
It's E.T. It's very E.T.-ish.
It evokes all that.
Very Stand By Me.
It's more sci-fi horror than anything.
I know it is, but it has
it's more of those like poltergeisty portions.
No, but I'm talking about the connection with the kids, interaction with the kids, the way they go on an adventure without their parents. Like, I'm going to rebel against the parents. And it had a very. And I talked to Frank about this too. The thing about it is, it feels for us, it feels very familiar. Because I remember as a kid, you come home from school, there's nobody home.
Mm-hmm.
You do whatever, and we discussed this, Frank. Like, you go into your dad's liquor cabinet. You go up in the attic where you're not supposed to go, or you're in the garage. Mm-hmm. My dad had a motorcycle, just sit on the motorcycle, and of course we knocked something over or whatever. But like that, you had that. You were free. You could do whatever you wanted to, and you weren't really scared. Mm-hmm. They just said, don't let a stranger in the door. And that was really about it. So, and if you weren't home, your parent knew you were at one of these three people's houses. If not, you'd be home by dark. And we had a quarry by my house, same thing. I was in the woods, and we would jump into it, do all this stuff. I don't know how any of us didn't get hurt or die. But we did. Whoever was the oldest was in charge. Even if the kid was a year older than you, he was in charge of you. My brother was 3 years older than me. He was in charge of me. Now, even if I was 5 and he was 8, he was in charge. I can't imagine an 8-year-old now doing that. But.
No, never.
So, but let's go back to why is this show, why was it so good?
It's expertly done. It's too good.
It's very done.
It feels old when you're watching. How did you do that?
That's what I'm sorry. I was just about to say. You get the first 2 episodes. They hit you with that nostalgia, the set design when you go into the kid's house in the basement and where they're playing D&D. It's like. It just brings you right back to that time immediately.
Yeah, and your parents never went down there. My parents never came in my room and said, "What are you doing?" She was just like, "Come on." So you had a lot of freedom. Now everybody's watched. Whether it's with you tracking on your phone or social media, you see what's going on. But back then, if you had a clubhouse, your parent didn't go in that clubhouse. We had tree forts. We had forts in the backyard. Like when they show his little Castle Myers, whatever it's called. Yeah. That's what we had. We made forts everywhere. We had curtains in there and, sleeping bags, whatever you had.
But the thing with it, I think it does do a disservice, though, is just because people say, well, it's nostalgia, and that's why people like nostalgia. But past that, it's just a well put together horror sci-fi movie that holds your attention, that brings you.
And you care about the characters.
Exactly.
See, nowadays, every character gets killed off. So they almost don't want you to care about the character. You don't care about anybody. You don't care. I don't care if this person dies. You cared about every one of these kids, every one of the kids, even the parents, even the D-bags on it. You cared. You kind of like. I mean, you kind of like you had
poor Benny gets shot in the head. You feel for that dude.
I know.
All he was trying to do was help her.
And he was cool. He's like, he was like, "What are you doing?" And then he was like, when he takes the food out of his mouth, and that's. And then when Hop finds out that he's very disappointed, and I know with the monster, they pulled it off. It's a very simple design, but it's still really terrifying and neat at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's just a humanoid with this
a mouth
with a mouth like a Venus flytrap. It's very interesting. I know you said it kind of looking with a Resident Evil.
I want to say it was like a Resident Evil from the original, PlayStation Resident Evil, or like a Parasite Eve or something like that. Yeah. Couldn't put my finger on it, but it was, brought me right back to that game. And that's what I was saying. And to Dr. J's point, we can, the nostalgia is there the first 2 episodes, but it really episode 3 all the way through really focuses more on the story. Like
Yes.
they hook you with the nostalgia, and then the developing story.
And the thing is, too, there's like
you know,
3
really
or 4
takes
plot
over.
lines going on, and none of them know about the other plot
that's,
lines.
yeah.
So they're all doing the same thing, just their own way, and then they all come crashing at the end, and they don't even realize
See,
that.
that's, well, like it's pretty well constructed. Like,
Yes.
episode 5 brought up, because that was the first one that was where they did, like, stupid Scooby-Doo things. I like the whole thing where they did stupid stuff. And then also, but bringing with, like, the father part, like, he's like, Jonathan's coming home, you know, he's got to tell her, and that's why they put him there, because he blocks him from telling her, so they make that connection. Because the longer they keep it apart, the longer they could
Go with it, yeah.
go with it.
And-
Which, you know, I mean, yes, I mean, they're trying to make it for episodes, which I understand, you know, but
No, I admit it, you know, because they had to fill in a little bit, and you know, who knows? It might only going to be one season. They didn't know it was going to be like this big, you know. And I like the ending is fine with me. If it was only, I mean, I want more, but if it ended like that, I'd be fine with it because it leaves it. The door's closed. Yet there's like, you know, a couple. Because is he a host? Is he an alien? Is he have powers? Is she around? Because he's leaving the Eggos. Is he just leaving the Eggos? Maybe she's there or not. He's feeding something.
Yeah.
I mean, because he has a chicken and he left the Eggos for her.
And it's a little box.
In a little box, and it's outside of the complex.
Yeah.
So is she in the woods? Is she coming out? I think she's coming out of a tree, like, you know, like that monster.
Well,
did.
yeah, I think then maybe they went over.
Well, that bothered me a little bit. Not to complain about it, like when they went in the tree, when
Nancy
went in the tree, she comes out and everybody's like looking for the gate. They know where the gate is.
It closed after.
Oh, did it?
When she came back out. And Jonathan
remember.
pulled her, like, it closed back up.
Yeah, it went turned to the
I
tree
think
again.
it can open and close like it did in the house. Like, it
must
came
have
in
been
and then it closed.
She got down the wallpaper.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, so those are like, you got the main gate down in the bottom of the lab, and then I guess different rifts, and that's why it was happening all around like that.
Monster
the
when he came out of the
woods
in the
over
school.
So that's another thing to bring with the monster thing, with the design. You know, it's got the humanoid appearance, so it, you know, can it communicate? But with the head, they get away with, well, it doesn't have to talk, it doesn't have to do anything, it just could be like whatever, which is a great thing because you get away that whole, you know, it's just coming for you. You know
And
what I mean?
too, if you only see it at night and with shadows, it just looks like a man.
Yeah, well,
you don't know what it is. And I'm telling you, the first
Like that
episode,
yeah.
the first episode's great. The first time we watched it, we watched it on my laptop upstairs, and my connection wasn't perfect, so the screen was a little fuzzy. So I could see it, but it wasn't like crystal clear. So I didn't see the monster really. So when I watched it again on my TV, I didn't realize you actually see him like pop up in the street, and then when he's looking out the window, you see it on the street. Like it reminded me of like Halloween or something like that. He looked, and then all of a sudden Michael's right behind the bushes, you know. And the way it hooks you after that first episode is like ridiculous because no, you got that going. She's there. It's like, who's this girl? Boy, you know, at first you're like, it's a boy.
I know, I was
you
like, wait, look, it's a girl. That's cool.
And you know, can she talk? And then like 11, and then this show, you know, when they show the mother, you know, she's like, they stole my baby, and now they fried her brain, so she's just like a vegetable in the room.
Well, she fried her brain.
Well, yeah, she did, but you know,
very Sarah Connor Terminator.
Yes,
part,
so they touch everything. I mean, they did a really good job with it, and I always said, I can't watch stuff as an adult that involves kids because I could never get into Harry Potter movies. Because I'm like, maybe if I was a kid, I would enjoy it more or whatever. That's not the truth. I just don't have any... those movies don't interest me. These have kids in it, and I was instantly attached to these kids. Every single one of them.
Corey likes kids.
Of course I do. Kids are great. You know?
They all are great.
But they're all good. You know what, too? And I
these.
think it's because they're the right age. You know, nowadays, everybody's like, okay... Frank, you're going to shave and you're going to play an 18-year-old. Yeah. No, you look like you're, you know, in your late 20s, early 30s. You can't do that. Now, these kids are actually that age. Like, you know, they're all that age.
Like Nancy looks like a teenager.
Like she's 67 years old, yeah.
All of them. The only, like, Jonathan doesn't. Jonathan does not look like...
He looks like he's been around for a little while.
Yeah, but I think that was maybe done on purpose, too. To make him look a little bit older because he's like the, you know, weathered... big brother who's been through, you know, the dad maybe beating on the
and as you can see, he's working, and plus he's working shifts when his mother's not working the paper. He's cooking the breakfast. He's like the dad. So it makes sense. But the dynamic of the show is just the way they, like, I like Goldbergs, and it's a sitcom. It's funny, and they literally throw everything in the room that you had as a kid, which is fine. I don't care. Like, the time frame isn't right. It doesn't matter. It's a sitcom. This here. Like when I'm looking at posters and like the soda cans they have, I'm like,
Evil Dead poster. I was like, oh,
Evil Dead, the Jaws poster. I'm like, this is great. This is like, you know, in 1983. You know, I was 6 years old. You know, I remember it, you know, clearly. And When his father's like, you should take that poster down. I think it's inappropriate.
That dude's like, lame.
Oh, that guy was. When he pulled up and he was like, oh, I went around the quarry and I didn't see any signs or any fences over there. And she's like, what? Like, as crazy as Joyce was, she was on top of it.
She knew it all.
Because she's like, that's not my kid in there.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that thing is. And then she's like, you're here to collect money. And then, because he was too nice, She's like, get out of here. Go away. So it was fun. I mean, people go, why are you so obsessed with it? I'm not really obsessed with it. I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it and I want more of it, And when I watch it like the third time, I'm not watching it. It's like watching Star Wars. I'm not looking at the movie. I'm watching the background to see something I might have missed. And Frank had told me earlier, I didn't realize that they compared 11 to Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Or Jean Grey, I should say.
Jean Grey, essentially. They make the comment in the beginning when they're Dustin and Will are racing home and they're betting, and he says, I'll take your X-Men 134. I didn't know it at the time. I actually just did some quick Google, and I saw 134, and I came to an article about how 134 was about the Dark Phoenix saga, and how, essentially Jean Grey and 11 were kind of like the same. It was like an homage almost. She sacrifices herself at the end just like Jean Grey does. It was a really cool article, and, it blew my mind, really, to even think of it that way and think that, possibly the directors of this movie were doing it because of that.
There's no way that's an accident.
Yeah.
No, it's not. But it's cool because they, like, I'm like, oh, X-Men 134, it's probably, I knew the cover. I know it well. I like all that, the Byrne X-Men stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's neat. And I'd never even thought of that. But it makes sense because when she, that's a great scene at the end because these kids are afraid of everything. Like, they're afraid of everything. All they do is running. And the one time they're in, like, serious trouble, they're like, oh, we're going to kill this monster. And they get the wrist rocket. I mean, this thing's about to destroy them, okay? And they're like, we're going to get it. It's the one time that they're brave is the time they're going to die.
Yep.
And she's like, yeah, no, guys,
well, they're doing it for her.
They're doing it for her, I know. But, and it was a tense scene, too, when Matthew Modine's holding her, and he's like, come home, I'll bring you home. Because he's such a sleazy dude.
Oh,
and
terrible.
Like when Nancy's mother says, like, I forget her name in the show, when she's like, I don't trust that guy. And the father's just like old robot type guy. He's like, well, they're the government. They wouldn't lie to us. And she's like, what? And she's like, that guy gives me the creeps. So when he's holding her and saying that, and the kids are like, don't touch her or whatever. And then she's like, bad. It was great because she understood it. She's like, Michael, that was her buddy. So it was emotional, the ride, because you have the whole, like, Steve, he's this typical jock, I'm cool, but he's not. He's actually a good guy, but he doesn't really know it. And Nancy's the same way. She doesn't know. She's a super nerd, but she doesn't realize she's actually kind of like a rebel, but she doesn't know what to do because of the way her family's structured. So they kind of, she goes bad, he goes good a little bit. And I think I had said to you earlier, Frank, the ending was weird because she would normally end up with Jonathan. Yeah. But she doesn't. She still ends up with him. And it's kind of neat that they did that because he's always like, oh, she's going to end up with Jonathan. And they didn't. So it was cool. Because when he shows up with a bat and he's just like, what was that? And he swings the bat around it was fun. It was a cool moment when he ran back in the house.
Yeah, he turned into a ninja all of a sudden.
Yeah. So, in the scene where he jumps into the quarry and she has to hold him and bring him back up. And, he makes a kid piss his pants, like all that type of stuff. Like I had a feeling it was going to happen because I'm like, she's going to do something to these. I'm like, and what more embarrassing is to pee your pants, and that's what because you don't forget that stuff. I always joke with Tom, who works here.
People don't forget.
Yeah, super bad when they're on the soccer field, and Seth runs on the field, and they're talking, and James Franco's little brother is like, "Come on, man, we're down by 2," and Evan's like, dude, it's soccer. It's soccer. He's like, come on, whatever. And Seth says to him, why don't you go pee your pants again? And he's like, dude, that was like 9 years ago. He's like, people don't forget. You don't forget that stuff. You remember in 3rd grade, you pit your pants. Like, you just don't forget that stuff. So
absolutely.
That made me laugh because I remember kids in elementary school peeing. You know, if you get in your pee pants out in recess or whatever. You know, but the comic book references in this movie are great. When they're looking for the right size rock for the wrist rocket, they're saying, I think she's an X-Men, I think she's a Green Lantern, she's an alien, and Lucas goes crazy about, oh, you love her, because he's jealous of her. And he comes back at the end too. You know, like he's riding his little bike, come back. I mean, the homage to E.T. with the flipping the van upside down.
Oh, the van.
So you get everything in this thing. Plus you get obviously new stuff. But and when he's in the, I mean I'm just running through things. But when he's at the end and she's gone, he just looks over and the little tent's still there and it's all set up with a walkie-talkie. I mean, like it's kind of sad.
Even the montage when Nancy and Jonathan are putting together the bat, and it looks just like Kevin McAllister in Home Alone.
Yes,
he's setting up the house, waiting for the sticky bandits to come.
Yeah, he's got the lighter ready.
Well, with that's what I'll bring up not the plot points, whatever. You have the monster. He's caught. You're burning him, right? Just let him burn.
Yeah, don't
let
put
the
it
whole
out.
house burn down.
Oh,
Why are you putting it out and
Yeah.
he gets away? Like, just let it burn. Just let the whole place burn. You know what I mean? Like that was.
I guess
like,
it's
no.
his house. I don't know.
She already put a hole in the house,
In
like
the
it's a
house,
rapper, and he just let it
You
go
know,
to
like
crap.
just let it be. You know what I mean?
Major
Like,
demolition in that house.
And you know the music they play when the lights come on when she's first talking to him, it almost gives you like goosebumps. It's like a weird. I don't know how to describe the music that comes on.
It's like synth. Like
Yeah,
Very
it's very
retro synth.
80s
Yeah,
synth music.
yeah.
But it's very like you can almost like it's almost like pulsating. But the way they do it, it's really well done because it gets all quiet and all you hear is like
it's
the
sort
popping.
of like Close Encounters at the end there with
absolutely.
with the doo like.
Yeah, it was really cool, and just seeing her slowly get crazier and crazier, and yet she knew exactly what was going on. And then when her and Jonathan are on the street, and when they're supposed to be preparing for the funeral, and she's like, they're just yelling, and it's like I'm sure it's very embarrassing. People look at you. Happens to me when I try and get my kid to leave the park, and she's screaming like I'm going to beat her, and I can't get her in the car seat. So I know the feeling when you pull a kid out of something. So I know what it's like. I mean, you'll get there one day, Joe.
Yeah, one day.
So the thing is, how did the alien find him? Or not the creature.
How did he find who?
Will.
Well, because that's he probably popped up looking for food, and he just stepped in front of him.
Well, it's out looking here. But the people, we don't know about the other people, but like the deer was bleeding.
Yeah.
And
they kind of made it all about that.
Yeah.
But when you look back at how he encountered Will,
he was just there.
I guess it was just a chance.
Well, that's why I think he got away because he wasn't.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like.
And he was hiding. He wasn't injured. He was
Well,
hiding.
that's why he wasn't injured.
I think the thing pulled him in, but I think he just took off.
Well, that's the thing, because he wasn't bleeding, so it was kind of like, well, is this food or not?
And I think he only got caught because
they were talking.
No, when 11 goes into that universe and looking for him, she goes to the fort, and all of a sudden the fort disappears. I think the creature's like, oh, there he is, because I think the creature obviously can see her. But when they go, when he's all excited, like, today's gonna be a good day, we're gonna make contact, and she touches that thing, and she screams, and the whole building, that was tense. That was really tense because he effed it all up. And was that his son that he sent in to get killed?
No, I think it was just another guy.
Nobody said Dr. Brenner. Like he said the same last name as him.
Oh, was he?
I think it was his son. No,
could be.
I think so. I think it was the one that he sent in that never came out. I don't know what the big deal is. Everybody like wants Barber. Barber's like when you watch episode 7 and that one stormtrooper that fought Finn with the weird saber. They're like, oh yeah, I don't know what his name is, but everybody's like making. I mean, Barber, whatever. But
FN 2187 or something.
I don't know what it is.
But she's more into she's been in a couple.
The thing I didn't like though
with her friends
is that she's missing, and nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Well, she got jelly that what's her name was getting some action. She got upset. She pulled the "Are you serious?" All right, and she listened to her friend and went home like she instructed her to. She went dipping on the diving board. Spilled a little ounce of blood, and that was a wrap for her.
Well, that's her fault because she said,
it's all her fault.
Yeah, be cool and take this can, and she ripped her finger open.
Dumbass.
Yeah.
I knew she was dead. That thing mauled her.
Well, that's the thing. Like, she got away, but she didn't, it pulled her back. Once the pullback happens,
no,
that's it. No matter what it is.
That's a wrap.
The deer.
Who was your favorite character? Like, what was your favorite character in the show?
It's a tough one. Although I'd probably have to go with Hopper.
Hopper. I love Hopper.
I loved Hopper. He turned into like this. He went from a just like this goofy guy in the first like episode where you didn't know if he could actually do his job because he was probably an alcoholic and who knows what else. And then all of a sudden he turns into this like conspiracy busting badass, and he just like he spearheads everything, and it's really like revolves around him that she gets her kid back.
Yeah, and and the more they showed you little tidbits about his daughter, and when they really show, especially at that scene when they're trying to bring Will back, that's tense. When he's in his head, he sees his daughter. I mean, it was very tense, and I was like, wow, like I couldn't believe, like from episode 1 to that, how much of like 180 it was,
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. That's a great use of the flashbacks through the whole series.
Yep.
To tell the story instead of just telling everything at once. We're going to tell
exactly
a little about this, about 11, about his daughter. Each a little part, and it worked out great. Instead of just telling one linear story.
Watched like a Tarantino film a little bit.
It was cool, and then when he wakes up from being knocked out and he's in his apartment and he's just rummaging looking for that was great because he's like I'm not this I know what happened and he's just ripping apart it and he found it and he was like he was like when he was just rummaging like crazy trying to find the bug
every orifice.
Obviously nobody knew what was going to happen at that point, but I thought that was very surprising that he woke up in his trailer. I thought he would have been killed for sure or something
because
at that point.
You know what it is?
Because it's part government conspiracy.
I know, but you know what it is though? They were tracking Joyce's phone conversations, and they knew he had contact with her. So they're like, "Listen, the guy at the diner, I forget his name.
Benny.
Benny.
Oh, no, the old dude that gave the statement after Benny died. Or?
No, the one Benny.
Oh, okay.
He just came in contact. They can get rid of her. They're trying to, but now it's like, okay, this has gone on too long. This guy might know something. They can't. If they squash him, they might not know. Maybe he knows something else because Joyce confides in him a lot. So that's another reason.
But also is that he's a government, official. He's a sheriff. If something happens to him,
they have to answer to him.
People are going to look into why he disappeared or something happened to him. Yeah. So they can kind of say, if he starts bringing up the stuff, they can bring up the drug use and everything like that, and the alcohol and stuff. But they can't, getting rid of him, they kind of have to explain more. So, I think that's one of the things.
How about when Hopper goes to the bar?
Oh, yeah, that's one of the
great
parts.
State Trooper.
Oh, my God.
Phenomenal, right?
Yeah, my daughter won the spelling bee. Yeah. Because he's like, he knows, when he caught him in a lie when he was talking about the quarry. He's like, that's not state run. I know whoever runs it.
Why are you lying to me? The dude's like,
what?
What's up?
Yeah. Because, you think about it, this is before social media. It's a very small town. And you just kind of believe whatever you see on the news or the paper or what you talk to. So when a big agency comes in, you just kind of back away. And like you said, the coroner, when he goes, no, they told me to leave. They're like, with JFK? They make you leave when JFK dies, not when an 11-year-old, 12-year-old boy dies. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know if you noticed at the end on the newspaper article, it says the coroner got fired or something on it because his boy comes back because if he made the deal, they'll never. It says that the guy who does the autopsy, he got fired or let go or fined or something because it's a little newspaper article on the board when they show So my favorite was Hopper. I mean, I like them all, but it's just the beginning. He's in there, he strolls in at noon, and he just probably sits in his office for 3 hours, takes a nap, and he's like, what? He's like, oh yeah, Will Myers is missing, whatever, and he's just like. Is it Byers or Myers? I can't remember.
Byers.
Will Byers. And he's like, dude, I just want to have my coffee and my cigarette. What do you say? Mornings are
for contemplation.
Coffee and contemplation.
There we go.
And he goes in and she's sitting there. He's like, are you kidding me? It's like, oh come on.
What did they say was the most exciting that had happened in the town?
An owl attacked someone's hair because he thought it was a nest. So that was cool because you see this guy, he's like, okay, they got to make him the lovable hero, but this guy's a train wreck. Yeah. You realize he's not. He's actually a very awesome guy, but his life fell apart once his daughter died, and of course he got a divorce, which I'm sure would happen, and went down from there. But he redeemed himself, but he was still himself at the end, as you can see,
Yeah, it even seems like when he talks to what I assume is his ex-wife on the phone that he left her because he couldn't deal with the whole
which,
thing.
I mean, I can imagine. Yeah. I mean, I remember the guy that started America's Most Wanted that show, because his son got unfortunately kidnapped and decapitated. He said it got so we couldn't even have a relationship. We got a divorce, and he goes, it had nothing to do with my wife and me, you can't function anymore because you can't cope with that. It's and I can't imagine that ever happen to anybody.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I mean, I love when they're in the library and
the library.
he's like the library really is like, well, I don't know, But I missed this one the first time because I was trying to get the show over with because I was like excited to watch it and my kids were running around the house. When one of the bullies gets his arm broken, and he goes to the station and he's telling the other cop there, and she's like, deputy, and he's like, I'm not a deputy, ma'am, I'm an officer, and she's like, I don't like your tone. He's like, what? And then Hopper's like, what's going on? He goes, some kid broke his arm. He goes, yeah, I'm just describing. It's a little girl. And every time we say little girl, she gets so mad because and he's just like, he's playing dumb, but he's really like, well, I have to tell him what happened. You got hurt by a little girl. And like the whole place would go nuts because he's, it was just, that's when everything kind of really came to because, Jonathan and them were in trouble with the stuff in the trunk.
Yeah.
And then, but I don't know if that happened yet.
Yeah, it did. That's why they came back to the.
And then he blurts out it's a girl with shaved head and a bloody nose, and it's all over. So it was cool how it all came to, and the pudding, it's reference to the Goonies, was Chunk. And when I like the teacher part because I had a teacher when I was in sophomore in high school, and he was super like nerdy like that. He didn't have that big of a mustache, but he had a little bit of a mustache. His name was Mr. Ilsley, and he was like the geeky cool teacher because I talked to him about like comic books and sports and box scores and stuff like that. And he was the guy that I could call him up and say, I used to see him at comic book shows, and it was kind of cool. Like I had an attachment to that, so that was kind of neat. And he's like, you told us, always go for it. And he's just like, all right, what do you need?
What is this for?
Yeah, he's
fun. So the AV club thing, it was kind of neat. And, when they're talking, like hearing his voice on the walkie-talkie was pretty cool too, when she kind of channeled him to him. But the fact that he was there the whole time, like literally like where they were, but just on the upside down world. So that's the best thing about the sequels or even prequels if they do these. They can go anywhere they want with this. Like, why is it there? What is it? And I know it's just interesting. Joe, you've been awfully quiet tonight. What's going on?
No, I'm listening to you. You're the leader, dude. What do you want me to say?
I don't know. You usually chime in about something.
I come in.
Did you like the show?
I did like the show.
Yeah?
It's awesome.
Yeah? What's your favorite part? Who's your favorite character?
Favorite character is 11.
Okay.
I love government conspiracy type stuff, so that was pretty cool. That was screaming Terminator, that whole thing, you know? I love the fact that there's 3 factions at the same time that are all like, so you have the boys and 11, and you have Mom and the cop, and you have older sister and older brother, almost all in their own movie, and they're all finding, they're all finding out the secret of what's going on at the exact same time, and you're sitting there, me and my wife are sitting there, and we're just going, it was killing us when they were all going to meet up and communicate and share their information. It went for like 2 episodes where they're all aware of what's going on and then have not crossed paths yet. It was killing me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, that's the thing. Like we said, well, there was the father part. So like that's when he would have told them, but then he didn't because he wanted to be crazy with the mother. Yeah. And then when they were coming to the house, that made sense when the kids were like, well, he's not there, and she really couldn't verbalize why he was there about the other dimension because she caused it, but like it gets to that point where you're just kind of like
just waiting. There's so much tension there. I'm like, you guys got to compare notes. You all know about the monster. You all making
because you can't say anything because you're crazy. Like she goes with Jonathan, who was spying on her and taking pictures of her, and which is creepy as it is, but I'm sure she kind of liked it because I'm sure it's kind of flattering. But then, of course, you see, the barber thing. Barber's on the.
He didn't know about it.
No, he didn't. He
see it.
He wasn't trying to do it. He was looking for his brother.
Like was, but even in the picture, like he didn't see it.
He didn't see it.
It just happened that she was looking at the pictures and saying, "Oh my God, what is this thing?" And
because she saw it the next day, and so that was cool. I just like how. I want to know if they can explain it correctly in a season or 2, like how you switch back and forth or what it is. You know what I mean? I don't want them to. I kind of like not knowing what it is.
I think that's probably where they're going to leave it.
I hope it's not an alien. I hope it's just, I don't know what it is.
Well, I think it's just a thing from there's another dimension out there, and it just...
But obviously there's an egg. I mean, they look at the egg. They're walking. Remember when they first?
Oh yeah, those things. Yeah.
There's like pods, and plus that thing he pulled out of the mouth and the thing squirreled away. Like there's obviously more than one, or I mean he breeds somehow, or it breeds somehow.
Yeah, I don't think they go alien with that though. I think they stay with
I hope not.
Extra dimensional monster or something like that.
Yeah, it just happens to be there. So like a wormhole or something in the ground. I don't know. It was. I was satisfied with it. Like I'm. Obviously, I was like, I need another episode, another season. But the way it was finished, I'm good. I don't.
It was like eating Thanksgiving dinner. The whole show. It was very. There's not much to say other than it was awesome. Oh, it was so cool.
Yeah.
It was really good.
No, and the intros were amazing.
Yeah, you said the first episode hooked you. I was hooked by the opening theme song.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
That opening theme song brought me right.
But not just that, they would show you like 5 minutes of the show, and then the theme song would kick in, and you're like, what? And then, of course, show like this with no commercials obviously helps a lot.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not a huge Winona Ryder fan. I mean, she was okay in Beetlejuice, but
wow.
I like Beetlejuice, but she.
It's a big showing for her as a comeback, right?
Yeah, because she kind of disappeared. She had the whole.
She's lucky this is blown up.
And then and I'm like, she's gonna be the mother. I'm like, okay, it makes sense. She's about that age, and she was great. And she really did a good job.
Played a panicky, anxiety-ridden mother.
So it was.
I want the phone and these lights.
And Hopper too. I like when he's kind of like, oh, he probably just ran away, and then when he finds the bike.
Yeah.
And the other cop's like, I probably ditched it. He's like, dude, this is like a Cadillac to these kids. They don't ditch these things. So he knew then, like, this isn't good. And I mean, and there's no blood, so someone took it. Like he thought somebody took him, but it was, when he goes into the building, it's a little too much sometimes, where he's just running through and
that's episode 5.
But they won't kill him obviously, but like he kind of when he gets too far, he gets too far in.
Like, what are you going to do? Like,
he gets all the way to the gate without much, he knocks a bunch of guys out.
And the building's not very big, but still, that's when it was kind of like, okay, but I understand why they did it. I mean, but it was a little bit, it was too super.
He's got one heck of a right, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It was the same thing with the Nancy part was in that also, where she went into the tree.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't like how, they're right next to each other, and then she's like,
I know,
they're calling each other, they don't hear her, and then she crawls into a tree. I'm like, nobody's crawling into any tree. I don't care if there's a spider in there, a raccoon, or a monster, or another dimension. Nobody's crawling into that tree. I'm sorry. No way. No, and not head first. Nobody ever crawls in head first. You're going feet first.
Seriously.
Well, then she could peek in.
No, I don't know if I agree with that backing up first.
You don't go feet first?
I don't know.
Dip your feet in.
I'm not sticking my head in my hand in there. No way, man.
Well, you could just grab you and just go.
Yeah, if it's waiting for you.
At least you can see it, like,
a tug on the shoe right
Either way, you're screwed, so let's not go with it.
I ain't sticking my face in there. No way. I don't think so. No. What? Wait, what's the matter?
My favorite character.
Well, you tell me. I don't have to ask you. I didn't ask Frank. I just asked.
I'm going to ask you later.
And you asked Joe.
I know, because Joe wasn't talking. And Joe's the loudest. He likes
8 minutes.
Joe likes to talk over everybody. So, Johnny, Dr. Noel, who's your favorite character?
My favorite character was Dustin.
That's my wife's favorite character.
Yes.
Dustin.
Because he's like the peacemaker, I guess, of the group.
Yeah.
But also, I like him because of the character. Like, not the character, but...
He kind of like knocks sense into you. Like,
oh, yeah. But no, like, the way that they actually cast him. Because everybody pretty much isn't pretty. I mean, I mean that in the nicest way. Because most, like, they do nowadays is they look like WB people.
Yeah.
And they look pretty and everything.
CW.
That's so true.
No, they do. Like you said, I'm not to cut you off. They do that now. Everybody's too pretty. It's like, the kid's supposed to be the geek. He's too good looking. Like, they're all pretty. These are just normal looking people.
Exactly. He has why can't I remember his thing? Like, the I say clear disc guy, it's not right, and I should say I know what it is because it affects the teeth.
Chondroplasia.
Yeah, chondroplasia. He has with the cartilage, and that's why he can hyperextend his arms and stuff, and missing the teeth and all that stuff. But I just loved, and like it was hard to understand him sometimes because of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I mean, I put Dustin with Lucas and Mike. I mean, they're just pretty much one character because they just work so well together, and their fights and their thing just make sense. You know what I mean? From when I was a kid. You know what I mean? That's that they're our connection. You know what I mean? And that's important. Like you said, like you have to care for these people.
Yeah, and you cared about him because you know what? He's really good kid, but you can see why he got picked on. Mm-hmm. I mean, his teeth immediately.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, he does these weird things with his arms. He's a freak. a minor freak, but to somebody in junior high school, that's freaky. You know, like it's weird. And you know, yeah, I like, you know, Steve. I think Steve became like my second favorite because I knew he wasn't like the jerk.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, he's got something good. Then when he goes back and he like fixes the movie theater thing, I'm like, okay. But what I love too is he gets his face pounded in, and he never wipes the blood off. He's on the back of the car, they give him a Coke can, and his face looks like he just got it ripped off, and he's just like, yeah, I don't even want a water to wash my face off. I mean, that's a real man right there.
And then he's right back looking for another fight with Tommy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Going right at it.
And he's like, dude, you couldn't take him, you're not gonna take me. He's like, yeah. Whatever. But that kid, he had the freckles and the hair. He looked like a jerk. I mean, they casted him pretty good. I don't know if he's a jerk in real life. I hope. But, you know, he looked like he looked, you know, like you didn't like him, like you hated him because, and her just being like his little cheerleader next to him. The scene I didn't love was with when they're at the car, and they approach Jonathan with the camera and the pictures. Yeah, it was. And the way she kind of flips him up and walks away, I'm like, it's too dramatic. I was like, nah. And like they would be more upset over that. So he's like, dude, you're taking pictures of me in my house.
Yeah,
like,
well, yeah.
So that was a little. And then when she's picking up the photos, and I'm like, what are you doing? So I guess it's a movie story long, but that was a little thing I could see. That shows you how good it is. We're picking apart like these weird, stupid scenes that don't matter anyways. You know,
it creates that tension though between Jonathan and Steve.
Yes,
and,
it does.
You know, the whole going to spray paint and everything and leading up to the fight. So I mean, it plays its part, but very small.
Yeah. So, but no, I like Joe. Why do you love the show?
Why do I love it? It feels old. Like when I look at the actors, I feel like that's not what they look like today. They're like older than me. You know what I mean? Like something about it. It is childhood. Okay. You know, and that's what I mean. It's like Thanksgiving dinner. It's like Master of Puppets. You know what I mean?
My fear was I'm gonna really like it because it brings me back to being a kid and all the stuff like that. But the show's gonna be very good. But when halfway through it, I'm like, I forgot about all that. I'm like, this is just, where is this kid? What took him? Because once you kind of see glimpses, like when it first comes through the wall, you're like, what? You're like, what is going on? I was very confused because you're like, he's there talking to her with the lights, but this thing is in the wall. I mean, it's not in the wall, but you like, you know, what's going on? I mean, you figured out by like episode, like I guess 7 would be when he's in there, you can see him in the wall, type of thing. But at first, you're like, what is going on? I mean, when they blast the radio, it was cool. Everything about it was cool, you know.
And well, you know, that's really the poltergeist part of it. You know what I mean? Where they're in the other thing and they're pushing through and everything like that. That's, you know, that.
And he said it was very Nightmare on Elm Street as well, like the scene where it comes out of the ceiling. You know, when you know, Freddy pops up.
Like you said before, it's rifts, right? It's like an alternate dimension, and those, like the break in the wall or whatever, these portals choose to open, those are the rifts that connect the two worlds together, right?
Yeah, like this giant monster must be able to create an enormous amount of energy to
he just tear open,
just pop into wherever he wants to at any time. And you know, thinking about it just now, going back to your point, is you know, maybe Will is putting off that energy when he's flickering the lights and stuff like that. Maybe it's causing, and even though it's not blood, it's the enormous amount of energy that's attracting him. But it's, I mean, just the concept of it alone is, you know, it's unlike any other, you know, to bring it to where, you know, the monster tracks like a shark, where like the blood goes in the water.
Yeah,
they can smell it from miles.
That makes sense. You know,
like
it's unbelievable that a shark would be like a mile away, right? They can smell or taste the blood in the water, and they come after it. You know, so. I mean, people are like, oh, you know, we're humans, we don't have any of these senses, but they can, like a hawk or eagle can see something, a mouse, like however miles away, they can see it on the ground. Like, it's cool. Like, I like how they really thought this over. It wasn't one of those things where, and I read an article with the brothers, and they said they have like a 30-page notebook just based on the monster's background. So it's not like, okay, let's make this. It did well, and so that's why sometimes you get a little worried when season 2 pops up when it's not supposed to be. They're like, okay, this isn't going to be good because you know they threw it together. Lost. So like,
I stopped after the polar bears.
So like that, it wasn't supposed to be that big, and it did. And they even admit we don't know what we're doing. So like when you have that, it gives me some reassurance. Like they were like, maybe it's not going to be this successful, but Netflix gives you that freedom where as long as it's, you know, a decent show, they will let you keep it going. And I think it outpaced and out-downloaded, or, you know, streamed, I should say, Orange is the New Black, which was their number one thing.
That and Making a Murderer. Netflix doing pretty good.
Yeah.
They hit home runs all the time.
But
Good.
I mean, as of last week? Yeah, the weekend. Like, it was 5 stars.
Yeah.
5 full stars.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed. Yeah, like,
No.
yeah, exactly.
And everybody I talk to and everybody I read, I mean, obviously here, people get pumped like I do, and they're like, oh, it's the best thing ever. When you read anything that critics or guys who are reviewing it, they love it. Like, there's nobody saying, I didn't see anybody say it's okay. I mean, they make bad points like we have, but overall, it's just like, you have to watch this, It's not going to change your life, but it's, you know what it was? It was familiar yet different, because everything's the same now. Like, I'm getting tired of superhero movies. I'm getting tired of, okay, it's another superhero show. I like that it's coming on because obviously it goes around this entire genre and everything connected, and I love that it's mainstream. But, like, everybody's like, why don't you watch all these movies? I'm like, because I only like 10 characters I really care about, so I'm not going to go see Suicide Squad. Because I would never pick up a Suicide Squad
Bro, you
book.
love all of them. Are you kidding me? Come on, Katana.
I heard that.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would never read a Suicide Squad book, so I've no interest in the movie. So it's like, not a knock on it. It's just that's not made for me. I don't want to see it. I want to see stuff I like Black Panther. I really want to see. I can't wait to see that. Wonder Woman looks amazing. So stuff like that. But I probably won't see Doctor Strange.
Why not? He likes you.
I don't.
Or at least wait till it comes out.
I've never seen him in anything. I know everybody loves him.
I'll give it to you on a stick one day. You'll watch it.
Okay.
Deleted.
When the time's coming, maybe I'll see it. And if I don't see it, it's not because I'm avoiding it. It's just that I've never had any interest in picking up a Doctor Strange book, so I don't need to see the movie.
That's true.
I saw Thor, the first one. I don't like Thor.
I did not like
Thor. The first Thor. It was okay. Whatever. I had no interest in seeing any other ones. I know you guys I know you're gonna swing at me,
dude.
I saw Guardians of the Galaxy.
Stop.
I was like one and done. Was it fun? Yeah, sure, it was fun. But I got off the ride. I'm like, I don't need to get back in line. I'll go to another ride.
Unbelievable.
It was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but I'm done with it.
New ride.
That's it. So no volume 2 for you.
No, unless they really sell me on it with like some of the
Living Planet.
Yeah.
What was
him and Mantis.
If Starhawk or Alita or the real Yondu pops up, maybe.
The real Yondu.
Yeah, not.
Well, aren't they making?
Not Merle. Come on, man.
Merle in blue makeup. But anyways, so I know I'm in the minority, so you guys can make fun of me all you want. I don't care. But so like certain things aren't for people, and like this, I just think the thing about this too is cool is anybody can watch it, whether you're like a teenager, my parents, us. You can all watch it and you can all enjoy it. I mean, if you don't like this, I think you better give me a good reason why you don't like it. Because
pretty slim reasons why
you
someone
can't
like
think
it.
of too many.
That's what I'm saying. So when somebody doesn't like it, they're either just going against the hype, which I am guilty of sometimes, believe me. But
Corey the hater is well aware of you.
Oh, I love going against the grain. When I was younger, I'm like, if it's the most popular thing, I'm good. Now go to something else. But,
well, you got a Red Sox shirt on, so.
Well, I'm from Massachusetts. What am I supposed to do? I was born into it. I can't help myself.
Can't help myself, bro.
But like you were saying, like the one thing that I heard that was the thing against it was the nostalgia thing, and that's why I keep bringing it up because it really
against it.
Well, that's why it's just nostalgia. So I'm not part of that. So, but it's.
Well, that's how I knew it. That's how I knew it was good because when I watched it and I was like, I mean, people came in here saying, Corey, thank you for posting it because I was kind of going to watch it. I saw that you got excited. Everybody else was writing above it, below it, and I enjoyed it. A lot of them were like young, and that's why I'm like, I know this is good because you get these people like some of our customers are like 20 years old.
For them.
These kids have never been home by themselves like that. Like they didn't grow up without computers and stuff like that. So I remember it was really cool when somebody had we didn't have walkie-talkies, but like my grandfather had a CB radio in the car, and we would in the van, I should say. We drove to Florida, and would talk to the truckers. It was really cool to do that. A kid nowadays are going to do that. Yeah, man, it was fun. Now they're going to be like, oh yeah, I messaged somebody in Australia. We played Madden, whatever. I understand it's a different time, different world, but it was cool. And the thing about this too is they don't talk about video games because video games weren't really. I think we had Ataris then, but.
It wasn't.
It was.
It was cool. That's what you did.
He was getting the Atari for Christmas.
Yes. Yeah. So they're playing video games and going to the video store and talking about Poltergeist, mother bringing you to see Poltergeist was a big deal, because I went to see everything when I was a kid. Stuff wasn't rated R. Wasn't like it is now.
You walk right in. Ticket guy could barely. Ticket guy was.
But not
usually
just that though.
years
It wasn't.
old. He could barely rip the ticket.
Nothing that was going to change you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The only thing my parents ever did was, if the girl's top came off, they'd say, "Close your eyes for a second." Other than that,
but that used to be in PG movies.
Yeah.
No, I know that.
I mean,
rated R meant they'd say a few curse words. The violence wasn't like it is now. Where they just show you everything. To me, that's boring. I like suspense. So like, when your mind thinks what's there is there. And I know you're not a fan of this movie, Johnny, but Signs. Listen, I think that obviously the water thing's stupid, but when you watch the movie though, they never show you. Like, he just looks out the window and he's like, "Oh my god!" So, but when you finally see it though, it looks like a Scooby-Doo creature.
It does,
it's very. So when I was like, if they're gonna show this creature, because when she touches it, you just see his back. He's coming through the wall. You don't actually see it. So when he stands up in the school. The effects aren't perfect, but I'm like, it looks kind of cool. Like, it wasn't like, oh, this is stupid. And it was very simple. The creature's a very simple-looking humanoid.
Just to go back, for the nostalgia haters, if you watch it through 2 or 3 times, I really have no life, so I've done that. But the nostalgia portion of it and, like, the stuff that they throw in the first 2 episodes really goes away. After episode 3 and 4,
it doesn't matter.
You could rarely, see that stuff like, you saw in the first 2 episodes with the Coke commercials and, the Lazy Boy and, like you were saying, all the different toys, the Falcon toys, the Star Wars toys. It really just goes away, and the story, the nostalgia hooks you, and the story brings you through to the end.
Oh yeah, you don't even. It doesn't matter what, because they don't really. I compare it a lot to like I didn't see Exorcist until like 15 years ago. And I was like, I don't know if it's gonna hold up. Aside from like the car that's on the street, that movie could take place at any time. You don't realize it because it's mostly just in that one room.
Yeah.
Like when you watch it, it doesn't. If they show them in the church, whatever. If you're not looking outside on the street, it doesn't look any different. Like you could that can take place at any time. So it's one of those movies like the first Jurassic Park, same thing. If they remade it like re-released it modernized, all you had to do was to change the computers and add a real cell phone, and that'd be fine. Nothing would be different. So that's why they hold up.
Isn't that essentially what they did to Jurassic World?
Oh.
Yeah, see?
Yep.
There you go.
It's essentially, same exact movie. I mean, they open a brand new park, based on that.
So it works because, you just take away kids, kids still ride bikes, they don't get together like they used to, I guess, and play. No, they do. They play Magic. They play, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! So you still do get together and play games.
But some movies, it works for the time frame. Red Dawn.
Yes.
Works in an 80 movie. With
not now.
When they redid it and everything, it didn't work because it doesn't make any
sense.
You got to use it. And would this be the same now? And
because I remember when Red Dawn came out, I was in second grade. My school had the same type of windows that opened up. Have you seen Red Dawn?
Oh, absolutely.
Joe?
I didn't see the new one.
Are you just saying yeah, or you actually see it?
I love Red Dawn.
Not like the Explorers thing.
No.
Well, same windows. So when they're dropping, and the whole thing was Cold War. When we were younger, it was Cold War Russia. Mm-hmm. Cold War Russia. That was a big thing, and Reagan, and it was like you feared the Russians invading. I mean, I know it's not Russia in the movie, but.
It's pretty much it's Russia.
It's Russia and Cuba.
And Cuba.
Yeah, and all the communists.
They come together.
Yeah. So we still had that fear of it, what's going to happen. Obviously, nothing happened. But I remember my mother telling me they had drills where they would go underneath the desk. So it was still our generation's is closer to our parents' generation as opposed to a kid's generation now to here because the last 20 years are very different.
Technology.
So
look what you've done.
A movie like Red Dawn, I can see an 18-year-old kid going, this is dumb. Because they don't know what it's like. Mm-hmm. This here, you can still, relate to it,
Absolutely.
Some of the production companies have to learn, too, that you can't just remake a movie. Sometimes the cast makes the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in a case like Red Dawn, how do you beat that cast?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, trying to remake Rocky without Rocky Balboa, without, Sylvester Stallone. How do you do that?
No, you can't. Yeah, and that's why I think they nailed it with the kids being kids and the stuff and parents being very ordinary. Like, there's nobody, like Matthew Modine, he's, aside from Full Metal Jacket, nobody knows who he is. And that was a long time ago. And Winona Ryder, most people know her from Beetlejuice, and she was a kid. And what was she in after
Little
that?
Women.
Yeah, she was in a bunch of stuff. I can't
Like
think
what?
of it right now, but she...
What was the movie with Christian Slater?
Oh.
Heathers?
Heathers.
Yes, she
See, I've
was.
only seen her in, I think, Beetlejuice. I don't think I've seen
But
her.
that was a
else.
later one.
Yeah, Heathers was when she was older.
But other than that, there was nobody in this show that you knew who they were.
True.
You know, like,
Yeah.
all the kids were unknown. Like, the girl was in a Stephen King thing, but people didn't know who she was. And Hopper was in other things, but I didn't recognize anything. You know, like, when I saw his face, I didn't know who he was. You know, not that I know who everybody is, but, you know, I think that worked. I think it was very natural. It wasn't like, you know, they didn't throw somebody in there. And I think that's why, like, Daredevil works too. It's all like actors you kind of know of, but they're not anybody.
They didn't cost a lot of money.
No,
Yeah.
and I think it works. And as opposed to, you know, blowing the budget on one person and then going.
Edward Scissorhands.
She was.
Girl
I've never
Interrupted.
sat through that. Is she in that?
Oh yeah.
Girl Interrupted. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
That was awful. That was bad. That's
Corey the hater.
I didn't like it.
Frank and Weenie.
No surprise.
What'd you say?
Frank and Weenie.
Wasn't that animated?
Yeah. Iceman.
Yeah,
Black
so-
Swan.
Like I said.
Yeah, not too much.
Black Swan, Corey's favorite.
You don't even get a laugh.
Other stuff.
Joe, you don't even get a laugh. The only laugh you got was from yourself.
Mr. Deeds. He was in Mr. Deeds, the new one.
She was in
Another
Mr. Deeds,
remake
Adam
that-
Sandler favorite.
She was in that one?
Yeah, the Adam Sandler one. She was the bad.
Oh yeah, she
person.
played the bad person and she became good as
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Oh yeah. Like again, like I said, nothing important, so. But no, it was good. That's why I think it worked. I think they hit everything right.
Well, you know why? Because it was those '80s people. Because Modine, but they're both '80s people.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Actors. So you know.
And it was
but
still,
they're-
you know what? Too, it was corny, it was funny, it was scary, it was sad, but they got everything right. Like, you know what I mean? Like at very very tense moments, they followed up with something funny. Something very funny would be followed up by something scary or sad. You know, like everything was there to, like when they pull the body out of the water
Well, yeah.
and they won't let you see it. You know it's not him. But at the same time, it's like, what is it? You know, what I mean, it was weird.
Cotton field course.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That was.
I mean, think about it. He's sitting there. He's like, I gotta cut this kid open. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, I know this is not real, but what if I cut open and it is? You know, it's a weird.
I did not expect stuffing.
Imagine
Yeah,
discovering.
no.
Oh my
Expect
god.
No.
A lot of things that I
Brutal.
expected, but not stuffing.
But like, the one thing we didn't do is either like the music.
Well, the soundtrack's coming out. They're gonna do 2 of them.
Well, even just besides like the actual like songs that they played, is just the synthesizer music that they played throughout, which is totally '80s movie.
It's very Phantasm,
exactly.
or yeah.
And I was telling Patrick, who works here, because he had saw it, he liked it too, and he's 23, 24. I said, I'll never forget watching movies on HBO when we were kids, because the intro was, remember, it had
It went over the city.
a city you could tell was like models or
Yeah.
whatever. You remember that? You're probably too young, Joe.
Yeah.
It had like
Who knows?
basically you're flying over the city and you're flying like you go from the city to the small towns to the mountains and it goes up and all of a sudden it's the HBO symbol kind of like
Oh, sure.
Okay, I think I remember that.
Star Wars
Yeah.
is like flipping around and it was really long. Like it was like when you watch it, you knew a movie was coming on HBO because it was a big. You know now the movie ends and then it goes into like the small picture, like the credits and then the other movie's starting. It wasn't like that. Like you had like this big 2-minute HBO beginning, and you knew it was like the night, the movie of the night, 8:00. You knew it was coming on.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, when you look back at how big like Blockbuster was on a Friday night.
Yes.
I mean, you know, I know you guys can probably relate. You probably can too. You know, you go there on a Friday night. There was a line out the door.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and all the movies you wanted were gone.
Totally
Even though they had
understood,
20 copies of it, they were all empty.
Absolutely.
You just wanted one copy of Earthworm Jim, man. It was always
Earthworm.
rented out here, right? Never got to play.
Earthworm Jim. Yeah, I know. So it does hit on nostalgia, but like I said, once the door opens, it doesn't matter what it is.
You just been adored.
To stay with the music too, there's still a couple bands nowadays. I was telling Corey earlier, FM84, another band called Ogre. Look that up. The music is out of control. It's like driving with Sly Stallone and Cobra, or like,
all right.
Yeah, it's really like it's like late night cruising music. You know, sun's going down, you're in Miami or something like that. You know, get ready for a big night. That's it's great.
No, it's good.
I told you that's what hooked me right off the bat.
Because everything's coming back to like, you know, 10 years ago or so, it was all our stuff. Because we were all getting real jobs and having, disposable income. So we're buying like He-Man, Transformers, and G.I. Joes again, and that kind of went away. And now it's the generation behind us with Power Rangers, Pokemon, Digimon. That's all like retro and cool to be into. And then of course they brought Star Wars back because of the movie. So this stuff, it's cool to be into this stuff because like 83. I mean, I was only 6, but I have a lot of memories of it. But I mean, I'm sure if I was like 10, 11, 12, it'd be a whole different story. So.
Well, this is really not, I don't want to say the first, but for our generation, like, because there's always baby boomer movies. There was like The Big Chill. I always remember as when we were kids that
baby
came out.
boomers love that
Exactly,
movie.
and they dominated for so long.
Yeah.
Everything they took more than they deserved. Not to go commentary, but they did. So they dominated culture for so long. They're talking about Woodstock and the 60s and all this stuff, and that was all their time. And they're finally dying off, and it's finally getting where the younger generations can finally start.
Like when you look at who makes these things, the Duffer Brothers, I think they're younger than us. They're like early 30s, I think.
How are they that awesome? How did they have such a great?
Because I think that they appreciate and they were probably brought up from their parents on this stuff.
Movies, yeah.
Like
and stuff.
I'm bringing like my kids are going to be brought up on like Gremlins and Jaws and Christmas Vacation, all the stuff like that. Where our parents are trying to, like you said, bring us up on the stuff before that. So, and I'm trying to infuse like my kids. I want them to be around music. I was never around music as a kid. My parents weren't into music. So I always had music playing, but I wanted it to be safe music. So I always had like Creedence Clearwater Revival playing a Queen. They don't curse and they're uplifting. They have good melodies and Beatles. So that's what they hear all the time. So my daughter doesn't know what it is, but she's like, oh, this is Daddy's music. She understands. She's going to be familiar with it, Led Zeppelin. She's going to know what it is, even though she might not like it. It's going to make her feel like home. And that's what I'm trying to do. So you got to figure where my dad, if I went downstairs, he had like the oldies on. And back then, the oldies were like doo-wop, maybe Elvis. It was old or really old Beatles, Where now, if you listen to like classic rock, it's like Nirvana, which is crazy.
Oh,
I know that's what's so weird. Like
yeah.
with the when you listen to those the what do you call it? The oldie station, and it was. I remember like even like in the '90s, like it was like that doo-wop, 50s stuff and everything like that. And now it's just like 80s stuff, 90s stuff. It's like okay, this is but yeah,
CBS FM 101.1.
Now they have everything on there. It's great. I always
50s, 60s.
Yep.
Now it's the oldies is 70s, 80s. You're listening to 101.1. And it's when I rolled up here, 80s at 8. And that's considered oldies.
Well,
oh my
it's
God.
well, it is. It's 30 years ago. It's
Yeah, when you
what's
look
the
at
thing?
it.
Like what was the other one? The like Britney's gonna be on there soon. I mean, it's
Wow.
16 years basically. 2000. I mean, she was before that probably a little bit.
Not much though. Not much. They're right around that age.
Can we talk sequel speculation real quick for Stranger Things?
Sure. We got a couple minutes left.
All right, here's my question. We got something cool. We got our cool little pizza eating hamster. We got it stroking it. It's nice. Does it need to be killed? Or like how much more supporting stuff or how much more sequel stuff or prequel stuff is acceptable? Do we need it? What do you want to see? What do we want to see?
No prequel stuff.
No
I don't
prequel
want
stuff.
prequel stuff. I don't mind flashbacks like they did with Hopper and his kid. I think it was perfect.
Like, do you think this should be something that needs like 5 seasons or just one more? Or
I think it depends season by season.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job when they showed, like, when they were talking about Eleven's mother, and they just showed that really blurry image from the newspaper when they got investigated and got fined or whatever, and it showed all of them in their gowns, and they go in the tanks, like, and whatever. So it was, I think that's enough. I like that. I don't want, maybe if they do a flashback of one of the scenes where they're torturing them or whatever they do to them, like that maybe, or like maybe that one's a little bit, but a quick 2-second, 10-second flashback is fine. I don't mind them going for, I just hope it's not like, okay, season 2 is this, and then season 3 we're going to jump 10 years ahead.
definitely gonna be a time jump at some point.
I think
that type of
I
situation.
think it'll only work, it'll only be good if it's always the same actors.
Yeah.
The only problem is, all it takes is one of these actors to go into the movies, and then they're off the show.
It's a wrap.
So hopefully it's not one of the core ones. Thankfully the kids are young, though, so the kids being that young could help. I could see some of the older crowd going away. But and the other thing upside to it is they can film these at once, so it's not like they're going to be filming for 9 months, like a TV show would, like 22 episodes. they can film it in like 2 months and make a movie. The only thing is it's so big. It's not going to be less than 4 seasons. There's no way unless season 3 is bad.
Like it's overkill.
I know, but they're not going to just not do that.
I know.
Yeah, they're going to milk that money.
Why can't something just be awesome and let it be?
No, I know. That's why when you see like British comedies, and my wife is she's from South America, and all their stuff is like 1 or 2 seasons, and they go, oh, it's done. I'm like, why? She's like, oh, it was huge. Like, well, it was done. I go, the story was told. They don't milk it and make Office season 8.
Faulty Towers.
Yeah, Faulty Towers. It was
great show.
Yeah, it was.
Was it 2 seasons?
And done.
That.
So I get that. So I can see it being 4 or 5, unless like this is awesome, and then season 2 is not, and then 3 it flounders. But
it flounders.
I have faith in them because I don't think, and when I read them how they talking to people and how how careful they are, I don't see it being, unless I don't know how. It's always secretive with Netflix how much they get involved. I don't know. I don't think Netflix comes over and gets involved.
I think there's like, here's some cash, have fun. Yeah.
Until it stays like that, and I guarantee you it will change. It will become where they get involved.
Everything does.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be fun.
The only way I can see a prequel is if, like you said, maybe they touch on the monster more, and show like how it came to be or something.
Yeah,
I'm sure it has some crazy origin.
But it doesn't seem like it would have that many human characters in it.
And I hope they don't really ever say. I hope it's like one of those things that's like. I don't know why do worms come out of the ground? They just do. I hope it's like one of those type of things.
I think it just is.
You don't need to know. Because think about it.
Another dimension, and that's where it is. And I don't think it was created because it just
happened. You know what's going to happen is if they ruin it, it's going to be like it's going to show where it's some. It's going to be big ones and little ones, and they're going to be don't.
It'll be like the Ewok Christmas special.
Yeah, don't show Chewbacca family coming out.
Big ones, little ones.
No, it won't look good. It's going to keep it a mystery. Like, you don't know what it is. You don't need to know what it is.
I think that's what's great about the show. That the villain is a mystery. Good.
Yeah.
Going to be with that, like, because like you said, like the stuff about the Upside Down, because there's the egg sacs. What was going on with that? Then there's the library. What was it doing with those? Like, there was a couple. There was a skeleton there, and there was a couple other bodies. I don't think it was just eating it because it was like what we do.
I think
it's a parasite.
I think it's a parasite because I think if you look, Barbara's like on the ground, almost like done, and Will was like stuck up.
Well,
I think it drains them dry, and then it just fall apart. But I don't know what he does with them because he attacked Barbara.
Yeah, exactly.
But you didn't see how he got Will. I mean, obviously it came in and got him.
Well, it took him and put him in that thing as opposed to like
what
he
did to
her.
Him,
yeah, like what I mean. So what was he doing? Was it what like And
what Will spits out at the end, does he become one because that's in there, or was he just a carrier?
Because that's different than the long worm that was in his throat.
Yeah.
It's very different. This looked like a slug almost. Like
it looked like. Do you ever see the Night of the Creeps?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that thing, like one of those slugs.
So, it was cool.
It was cool.
It bothered me, not bothered me. It intrigued me a little bit. Like, why wasn't Will why it didn't bother him that he just spit this thing out? He was like, oh.
Maybe he's slightly possessed or something. That's when he goes back and he's completely normal at the dinner table. They're like, oh, you're right, bro. And he's like, totally good, dude.
I think it's one of those things where Will never really came back. I think it's one of those type of things.
I think also he's freaked out.
He's probably freaked out.
He's just it's like you had all this happen. Sorry.
Oh, again!
And I'm just
Hey, Captain America and Batman both said the S word.
107:48. 107:48.
Sorry, but have all this stuff done to you, and then you come back, and he's just he doesn't want to go get bothered again. You know what I mean? Okay, this happened, whatever. Yeah. Maybe it's not going to happen again. And
I'm going to switch between dimensions, and I'm going to be totally cool with this and go back to Christmas dinner and not say anything to my mom or my brother. After I just went through this whole thing, I would have been running screaming out the bathroom.
Yeah, because the thing is, when I'm assuming he's hiding the whole time, because he was pretty almost dead. He was decimated. It's not like he was checking out the world and he was. I think he was running from the house to the fort. I think that's what he was doing when he was in that world. Because there's no way he was taking a stroll.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's go check out the library, guys.
Chilling, and cowering in fear.
I don't think he. It's not like when he switched really quick. I don't think he's like, oh yeah, I've been here before. But then again, he's still in his house. So I think he's familiar with the house, the barn, and the fort, which is right behind it. So I think he's familiar with that little section.
Well, he knew he was in the Upside Down.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, you could tell by the way his eyes lit up a little bit.
It was cool. So I just don't think season 2 will be as refreshing and as good, because I think you're going to have too much in your head, and now there's too many theories. What is it? What's going on? Because when you watch it fresh, it's just like, oh, this is great.
It's awesome. So I'm going to make an early prediction and say in season 2 that when 11 comes back, she'll be it might be slightly older maybe. She's going to be so much more powerful than she was, and she'll be able to tear her own rifts in between the Upside Down. And
I like how, and we didn't touch on this, we talked about X-Men and Dark Phoenix, stuff like that. She's pretty much Banshee, too, because she screamed her head off to get that thing done.
Yeah, when she looks at her reflection in the water and she screams, and you can see like the ripple in the lake.
But when she's like, you know what? Bye, guys, and she was like, I got this, and she screamed at that monster. That's what was killing him.
Well, I think that's where she is, because, she disappeared.
Yeah.
With
but
you know what I mean?
Did he die? Did that creature die? Did she take him with him, or what?
I think part of it, I think he died, because, there was all that, ash, basically, when it went away, but the ash was there, and then she's just gone. So, I mean, it could be her ash with that, but especially with the thing, I think she's in the Upside Down.
But it's one of those things where, he's feeding her, but it's like, maybe he isn't. Maybe it's one of those things where
he hopes,
and that's their sign. They're waiting for it to come back. You know, it's like, you know, I don't know if you guys ever lost an animal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like a cat or a dog, not a dog, but usually like a cat or something. You always leave the food outside, and hope in the morning, and the food's gone, something ate it. You're hoping it's your cat. You know,
could be a bear or a bird,
a raccoon,
another kid.
Joe Watt looking for something after a crazy night at the club.
Oh my God!
We didn't bring up that it's a great scene. Is the supermarket?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a great.
Yeah, it's a very good scene.
L scene with the.
What are you talking about?
When she goes for the Diegos and just pushes them and crushes them.
Oh, and all the shopping carts in front of you.
That was a great scene. That was just
which is totally out of her character.
Yeah.
You know, to go in and be violent rather than be.
But
the
she
one,
shows she can do it though. That's
yeah.
I think they're showing that she can get mad, not just. She's not shy and innocent. She can get mad because when she comes out, she doesn't know where she is.
Well, that was what's so satisfying at the end when they all have her in. They have them in the hallway, and that woman agent was right in the front. She's the one that killed the diner, the cook and whatever, and then just makes them all die. I know it sounds horrible, but yeah,
both sides in that little hallway just murked them.
Well,
all.
seeing that the woman that posed as the Child Protection Service.
Well, that's who. Yeah,
seeing her die because that woman had no soul.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
that was nice.
She tried to get the science guy and tell him that if you had any boys to select for the science.
So it was nice seeing her fry.
And also they got the guy in the van because he must have been in the van that flipped because he wasn't at the end.
Yeah.
So he must.
The guy that kept going into everybody's
exactly.
house.
Yeah. So he's the only one that wasn't at that raid. So either he's really hurt or he's dead. So either way, I'm happy.
Talking about scenes we didn't talk about, I got to touch on, where and your favorite character, Dustin, is in the refrigerator, grabbing all the chocolate pudding. And I was telling Corey earlier, it reminded me of Chunk with the ice cream down in the Fratelli's basement.
Yeah.
And he's like, we got Rocky
and the
Road.
body falls out. Yeah.
Same thing. She was lying.
Yeah. Even the face. The face just...
He's like, he didn't get a chance to open it. He was about to open it. And he's like, they're here. He's like, come on. And Elle's going to have her first chocolate pudding ever. And she never did. She never had it. Stuck with Eggos. Whatever else they ate.
Frozen Eggos.
Yeah, frozen Eggos. So, but I'm glad we all liked the show. I know you're on vacation, Joe, but I'm glad you made it back in time for this.
Oh, man, this was a surprise hit for me. I was like, whatever. Okay, 80s, cool.
Yeah.
It was.
You happy? And you met Frank, and you realized you guys kind of know each other.
How about that?
Two guys from Toto on the Zapp Comics radio podcast.
Yep.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. What's good, fam?
So we'll see you guys at the shop. I'm glad you guys listened in, and we'll be back soon. So for Frank, Johnny, Joe, I'm Corey, and again, this is Zapp Comics Radio Podcast. And later, guys.
Peace.
Peace out.
Zapp Comics Radio.